And our first guest is a warrior who knows firsthand how to fight the power. Miss Krissy Hylton from East Palestine. Hi.
Hi,
Hi.
Krissy.
Hi, Jill. Nice to see you.
Oh, good to see you.
So Krissy, if you guys haven't subscribed to my channel and seen her on before, she is in East Palestine, Ohio, which is still suffering more and more every single day. Jill was gracious enough to accept my proposal to do a town hall with me in East Palestine for the residents. I think I know there's a huge, you know, stereotype that, oh, they're Trump country, whatever. Well, Jill Stein, Green candidate, went to East Palestine and East Palestine and really connected with these people. And some of them were like, I didn't know there was a Green Party, but this is amazing. So it's about reaching everyone. It's about talking to everyone. And Krissy, let me ask you, it was about 2 weeks after Biden came, after over a year of waiting. He didn't meet with any residents except 3 that were handpicked who ended up having connections to the Dems. What was it like for a presidential candidate to then come like 2 weeks later and do a town hall and actually listen to you and your community?
It was refreshing. It truly was refreshing to be heard. We've been silent so much. Unfortunately, nothing has changed. It's only getting worse by the day.
Now, you guys are still you had the decision of the lawsuit, and I'm so proud of you because you did exactly what I hoped I would have done. And you basically said, no, I'm taking this a step further. I am not accepting your pennies. We are, taking this on with our own lawyers. It was an extremely complicated process where Norfolk Southern essentially wanted to give you $70,000 per household. And, which is literally nothing. But then on top of that, they also said any assistance you've received for, any temporary housing or hotels or anything will be deducted out of that. So most people would have gotten zero.
Oh, they would have owed. Oh,
that's true. They would have owed.
Yeah, they would have owed. I don't know how they would actually do that. The 4 leads that I feel totally have our blood all over their hands, as well as Norfolk Southern and the EPA. So for the life of me, I can't seem to understand where the compassion has gone in our country and why greed just runs and runs and runs, and evil doesn't even hide itself anymore. It's very disheartening. It sucks the hope right out of you for change. Then you meet extraordinary people like Dr. Jill Stein that showed up, that came, that listened, that spoke with everyone, that was in attendance and stayed later and spoke, talked, prayed with. That made a big difference in believing in something again. It's just, once you've dealt with this for a year and a half and repeatedly being kicked when you're down and disappointed, there's definitely has to be change in our government. This cannot go on any longer.
Absolutely. And I know you and Ashley were sharing some of the, the symptoms, the ailments that, you know, it's only gotten worse. I'm always getting texts, people are in the hospital and everything like that. And Jill, you were kind of astounded with just how many things are happening and how there's just no concern. As a doctor, just even hearing even half of what's going on, you know, what's your reaction to that?
It's really infuriating that our agencies that are supposed to be defending people who are subjected to environmental assault, you're the ones that are supposed to be protected. But hearing your description, Krissy, of what went on, you know, and reading about it, that you know, and your work too, Joy, which has been really wonderful, basically calling out the Ohio Department of Environmental Protection, whatever its name is, as well as the regional branch of the EPA. They're basically working with Norfolk Southern, and they were doing a cover up. They, you know, they allowed the spill, the chemical spill, to be ignited, which was such a catastrophic thing to do in the first place. You know, and then Norfolk Southern should have just had their pants sewed off of them for having allowed this spill. The fact that these incredibly toxic chemicals are being transported through our communities to start with, you know, and these train crashes happen all the time. You know, it's just luck of the draw which ones happen to have cars that are loaded with really toxic stuff and which ones don't. You know, it's just outrageous from the get-go. And the fact that the Railroad Workers Union had tried to address these safety concerns, and the Congress, including the squad and the Democrats and Joe Biden, who pretend to be a friend of labor, that they forced the union to accept a contract that they had already rejected. They basically tore in half the key power of unions to defend themselves and defend workers. They utterly destroyed the right to strike and inflicted these very dangerous conditions where you have people who are exhausted. It's now like 2, or if you're lucky, 3 people on a train that can be 1 to 2 miles long. So they have a huge amount of, turf to cover. And there are many conditions on the trains which are really dangerous and vulnerable to start with. So it's like people and safety and workers and communities and the environment are like the last concern of all. And to see all these groups pile on with each other and just basically rally around protecting profits and allowing people, not only allowing people to be injured, but then to basically assault and harass the victims and to pressure them and denigrate them and smear them for standing up to try to assert their rights and protect themselves. It's just jaw-dropping. It's just incredible. And Krissy, you and the community have so much, integrity and power that you're somehow able to keep fighting this. It's such an inspiration that you are. And, it's my hope that we put the fear of the community into the EPA, so that they know that there is a powerful force here that's rallying for East Palestine and for communities across the country, so that we not only prevent these kinds of outrageous accidents from happening in the first place, but that we ensure that the polluters pay. Those who are abusing their workforce and the community have to pay for this damage. And it's just outrageous that you, the victims, are paying. You're being financially destroyed. Your homes are destroyed. You've had to move out. I mean, given the condition of your home, I presume you are not able to move back in because this stuff just doesn't go away. What is the condition of your home now, Krissy?
Well, they're trying to, in my relocation. So they're trying to force us back or force us to sell. But I am waiting on one round of independent testing to come in. And I had another independent tester that my home shows formaldehyde now. And that was a byproduct of the burn. So it's just Norfolk's gift that keeps on giving, what we unearth and uncover in East Palestine. And, you know, they found the fourth pocket of vinyl chloride not too long ago. And there's a lot more. From a report that I seen, there's probably maybe 114 left of them. It's just when they want to say that they found them and when they want to attempt to clean it up. But the community's very much still in danger from these chemicals, and we still need help. And relocation is a must for anyone having issues. Once everyone's fully informed about the risks, when the EPA steps in and stops Norfolk's testing and starts testing on their own, because after the NTSB hearing, that revealed that their testing isn't up to par. So somebody needs to step up and do the testing and then have them pay them for the testing. Because now when you have Jennifer Homendy stating things like they tried to do the testing with store-bought vinyl chloride, where's our government right now? Where are they? Why are they not helping? We're not going to stop until we get our families safe. They have a choice now, and the world is watching them. The world is watching Michael Regan, Deborah Shore, at the EPA step up and do the right thing. Help the residents.
Absolutely.
And face criminal charges, because in my eyes, they all should.
Environmental terrorists.
Yes.
Yeah. And they are, they're committing malpractice. They are supposed to be protecting people. They're not protecting people. They're abusing people. They're trying to shame and intimidate people, and, kind of like be the big brother, government agency telling you that you are wrong, that you're making up these symptoms. I mean, it's like outrageous that they're doing this when it's known that this stuff is very toxic, deadly, and it's known that you are exposed to it. It's like, who are these people? What kind of imposters are they? They are supposed to be public servants here protecting the public, and they're not. And it's really important that all of us, wherever you live, understand that you are in the target hairs too. It's not only what might spill in your community, it's what's already in your community. It's what's already in our bodies. How did we get to this problem of lead contamination? Why is it that we all have lead levels? You can go to the bottom of the ocean and there are lead levels at the bottom of the ocean, because our so-called regulatory system has been protecting profits. And it's not like it was never known that these substances are toxic. They were known, like lead goes back to the 1800s, from the first time that colored paint was used outside of homes. And suddenly there was this epidemic of what looked like meningitis among kids. All these kids were paralyzed and nobody could figure out, why do we have this epidemic of paralyzed children? And then finally they put together, oh my God, it's in the homes that use this lead paint. And the kids were chewing on like porch railings and stuff like that because it tasted good. So it took forever to start getting any kind of protection, even though it was known from the get-go. And same thing is true, a gazillion chemicals. I mean, there are like 20,000 synthetic potentially toxic chemicals, and very few of them have ever been adequately tested. But we have a system that protects the right to use these chemicals, not the right of consumers and the public and the environment to be protected from them. So this is absolutely outrageous. And one of the latest developments here is PFAS, which most people are starting to hear about now. PFAS, which is it's a fire suppressant. It's used to put out fires. It's used by the military all over the place. So water sources around military bases are a major source of contamination. And then 3M, the chemical and consumer product company, they were a major producer as well. So this stuff is now in our bodies. We all have it. And now we're only learning that, it causes cancer, it causes kidney failure. Who knows if it's causing, dementia and, Alzheimer's and all that. It's very hard to prove this stuff because the stuff is too toxic to test on people. So they don't test it on people, and it has, we don't know how much exposure is dangerous and so on. We protect the right of corporations to use this stuff and to pollute the environment and to create toxic stuff in our homes and carry it on trains and all that. So this whole system, everyone should know that they are threatened by it. And, we now have rising cancer rates in young people in particular. And the World Health Organization long ago determined that most cancers are environmental. This is not like some God-given thing, and the numbers are going up. It's, crappy corporate food has a lot to do with this as well. But there are all sorts of, these environmental poisons now that we are being subjected to. So it's really what's happening in East Palestine is sort of the tip of the iceberg here. And we all need to own this struggle and to help fight for the kind of protection that we need. We need to get the chemical companies out of the business of owning the EPA and our other, regulatory institutions and government.
Absolutely. Krissy, thank you so much for joining. I'm sorry, it's a rather short fundraiser, so the next guests are here, but I thank you so much for joining. Oh, and also, before I forget, today is 1 year ago today that I first came to East Palestine, and we had that huge Medicare for All rally. First time I met you in person. And I will be back for the 5th East Palestine visit next month. So I'm sure we'll be getting together. What do you want to leave with the audience as far as, about East Palestine? What do you want them to take away?
The fact that people still need to get out. Put the pressure on your elected officials, I don't care if you call the EPA at 2:00 in the morning. They need the phone calls. They need to be told that we need out.
Absolutely. And especially if you're out of the area, say that you're out of state and everything, so they know this goes way beyond the community. We are outraged all over.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Krissy.
Thank you both.
I will talk to you
leading the charge.
Thank you both, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
For sure.
Take care. Bye-bye now.
Bye. Warrior. She inspires me so much.
They are amazing. Krissy's amazing.